Hello and welcome to GeForce. I am Julian.
And I'm Meg.
And we are here in front of the convention center getting ready for E3. Now, there's no problem.
$2.99.
Day when the world truly gets introduced to full 64-bit processing power, not only the power, but what it is that it can do. And even before we introduce this great product and the rest of our big software lineup for this year, it's very encouraging to us and the rest of the industry to style that after 2 years of month-on-month declines, that 1996 has kicked off in a real big way, with January, February, March representing the first positive year-on-year gains in over 2 years for 10.7% real growth, and that's before we even start with this great new product lineup. So we're excited. We've got a lot to tell you in the next 30 minutes. I'm going to demonstrate the product for you and then open it up to some Q&A. So let's get on with the show, and here's Howard to tell you what we've been doing since that steamy day in August 1993 when we first announced Nintendo 64. Howard?
Thank you, Peter, and good afternoon, everyone. It's certainly no secret that this E3 show is a big show for Nintendo. It's show and tell time. As you know, we're going to launch Nintendo 64 on September 30th. And we've taken our time with this product for a very simple reason. We wanted to get it right. We wanted this system, the hardware and the software, to be a quantum leap above anything out there. 16-bit, 32-bit PC, whatever. And we believe that we have accomplished that goal. Today, you're going to see not only the world's best and most powerful home video game system, but what Mr. Yamauchi, the president of Nintendo Company Limited, and all of us at Nintendo feel is the best video game ever created, Mr. Miyamoto's masterpiece, Super Mario 64.
Tom Jermlak, president of Silicon Graphics. I must say we're very excited to be a part of the unveiling today of the new Nintendo 64 technology here at the E3 conference. The Nintendo 64, a result of a collaboration between Nintendo and Silicon Graphics that I must say has been a tremendous amount of fun. And I think that's going to come through. You're going to see that in the end result of the product, just how much fun we had creating this. It's an example of a leap ahead, a break from the past of the home video game technologies of the past that's drawn forward because what we've done is integrated Silicon Graphics leading-edge visualization technology, color and motion and graphics technology, coupled with digital media audio techniques, and brought together with the high-performance computing capabilities of our MIPS RISC processor. All of these together in an architecture that's truly high performance and leading edge, and yet brought down to the scale of a home video game so that Nintendo can make it available to the mass marketplace. And that's been a stunning achievement. The result of that is a game that in fact provides an environment for immersive, compelling technology. One where it truly represents what's happening in the real world. It may sound like hyperbole, but this is a game where the user will be able to become totally immersed in the technology and in the gameplay. The best example of this, the new Super Mario 64 game also being unveiled here at E3. This is a game where Nintendo developers have taken advantage of the tremendous visualization and audio capabilities, but really added in to the mix their own compelling story and compelling gameplay that when combined with these technologies makes for an experience that truly changes the way that these home video game users will interact with the software that's available. It's a true breakthrough. What it is, it's a masterpiece of computing technology that happens to be disguised as a home video game. And that's kind of our approach to this marketplace. But the real story is, the power is here, the jump has been made, the game is wholly new. Thank you very much.
Said, let's get on with the demo. We're going to do something a little different than we've usually done. Instead of showing you a videotape, which we'll do later on, we would like to give you a feeling of what it's like when people are actually playing. So we're going to do a live demo. And for this demo, I'd like to invite up Henry Strici and Isaac Marshall. They're also from the Treehouse. I'm going to have them actually sit up on the edge of the stage here, and they'll be playing from this monitor over here. It's a little easier than twisting their necks to see what's going on over there. I think the obvious choice is to start out with a demo of Super Mario 64. You may notice these cartridges are a little large. These are actually, of course, prototype cartridges. The final cartridge is approximately just under half the size of this. It's actually significantly smaller than the Super NES cartridge. And without further ado, video.
It's me, Mario!
into your A to Z type of game where you can play a level, beat a boss, play a level, beat a boss. This game is much more wide open. You have full freedom to move around in a very large 3D environment. The way the game is structured, it's actually all focused around this castle. You'll be doing levels that are hidden within the castle, underneath the castle, up in the castle, up in the sky, etc., etc. The way you move from level to level actually is by gathering stars. You notice on the top right of the screen you see stars and 9. That means we've already located 9 of the 100 stars in this level. One of the coolest things about the N64 though is actually the controller.
By slightly pressing up on the control stick, Mario will begin to tiptoe. By pressing up further, he'll begin to creep. Still further, he'll walk, then jog, then sprint. This will also give you 60-degree control, which you can see is quite fun.
While you're watching these demos, I'd like you to notice how incredibly crisp and clean the graphics are. I'm sure for years you've been hearing things like tri-linear bitmap interpolation, perspective correct textures, and real-time anti-aliasing. But the bottom line is, the image is crisp, super clean. On his head. As you notice, Mario did a kind of a cool move there. I'd like to go into some of the moves now. Being a Mario game, Mario has a lot of moves. Let's see what Mario can do. Mario has a combo. Mario has a jump kick. Sweep kick. Lay out, double backflip. You can also do the ever popular busted off. One cool thing Mario can do is if you climb a tree, you can eventually do a handstand. For 2 points down the chimney. Now, in this particular level, we've already gathered the first 2 stars. The first star you have to get by saving this mommy penguin's baby. You then get the second or third star by coming up this chimney, and the mommy will be happy to take you on in a race down the bottom. She's kind of ticked off that Mario cheated, but that's okay. You talk to her, she'll give you a star anyway. And we'd like to jump ahead in the game a little bit now. So now we'll just imagine that Henry has gathered 8 stars. Once you've gathered 8 stars, you can go into certain situations. What's also cool about that, though, is the camera always seems to be in a... Missed it by that much. Anyway, now what would have happened if we made it through that level, which is pretty tricky, so don't feel sad for poor Henry, is that you fight Bowser, which you'll see on the tape, and when you beat Bowser, you get a key. Now, you probably investigated your way through this level several times. Before you've gotten to this point, you realize there's a basement. Down in the basement, there's a locked door. Well, you get the key from beating Bowser, which we, of course, have already done. What do you think he keeps doing? I think he's got some pretty big overalls. Anyway, this is another good example of how you might find another level. Down here in the basement, there's a few stages. You'll see a flame level as he's cruising around. Right at the end of the hall there, that if you jump into that picture, you go to the fire level. There's a star door on the left. We'll let Henry go this way. You go in a room with a small pool, jump into the water, swim in this like underwater shortcut, and you'll come out into a room where there's a pool and a couple plungers. This is kind of a puzzle element. Now you get in here and you're like, well, what am I supposed to do? If you're an average player, you're probably wandering around, you'll notice that there's a door under the water. Now, do you ever hit your butt stomp to get rid of those? Water goes down. That gives you access to this door. Go out the door, lo and behold, you're in the moat, and now the moat is drained. Again, an average player probably would have gone to swim in the moat when they first started playing. That's kind of cool. They would have seen the door, and they would have seen this hole. They wouldn't be able to open the door because they're underwater. They wouldn't have been able to go down the hole because there's a water current.
Now I have to see this. This is really cool.
This is a very strong example of how we can, like, look into the distance. You may have also noticed while Mario walked into this level that he looks like a bunch of pixels. This is what we like to call the pixelated Mario power-up. Mario has 3 other abilities that he can gain during the game by finding these big P-bricks. Many of you that have played previous Mario games, especially Mario World, are familiar with the idea of a P-brick plunger. Again, you'll find these big, gigantic, transparent blocks with an exclamation point, and you gotta find this plunger in order to get them all solid. And they give you a couple different abilities. Mario gets this hat where he can just fly freely. He also ends up with this hat, which he'll gain as soon as he goes over and hits the now solid blue brick, which turns him into pixelated Mario, so he can walk through chain link fences and like this one right here. So we'll have Mario and Henry grab the hat. Now you'll notice he's like pixelated Mario. Let's go back out there and zoom up on pixelated Mario. It's kind of cool. It's like he's made up of a bunch of little balls. See the camera zoom in? Yeah. See? That's what allows Mario to walk through walls and stuff. Well, we've only shown you a very tiny portion of this game. We actually have people in the office who play this game over 50 hours and they're still not finished. And these are some of the best players in Nintendo of America. We feel for an average to above average player, this game has something in the 60 to 80 hours of gameplay, and we don't think it'll be rare to have players take 100 hours before they finish the game completely. Anyway, I think we'd love to play Mario for the rest of the day, but we all have to move on. So
Bunny!
This is little Timmy. He isn't going to make it to school today. None of these children will get to live the lives God promised them. Pray for little Timmy. Pray for him.